My fiance told me she was going to a friend's house, but I saw a hotel charge on our joint account. I waited until she checked in. Then said room service with a note that said, "Hope you're enjoying your stay, liar." I never expected my life to turn into a bad movie plot. But that's exactly what it felt like. No background music. No dramatic lighting. Just me, standing in our kitchen in Louisville, staring at my phone like it had just punched me in the gut. It started on a Tuesday. I remember because Tuesdays are dead at the garage, and I finally had a night off. Jenna, my fiance, told me she was going to her friend Erin's place. Girls' night, she said. Wine, trash TV, and catching up. That's what she called it. She even kissed my cheek before she left, like it was any other night. It wasn't. An hour later, I logged into our joint checking account to pay our internet bill. That's when I saw the charge. $286.42. Hilton, downtown Louisville. It was time-stamped that evening. Less than an hour after she walked out the door. I stared at it, hoping I was reading it wrong. I wasn't. I looked at it again, like that would change anything. My chest felt tight. I sat down on the couch and stared at the wall. It was a hotel. A nice one. The kind with valet parking and a rooftop bar. Not the kind where you go to talk about your feelings with your girlfriends. I wanted to be wrong. I wanted there to be some explanation that made sense. But I'd seen signs before. I just didn't want to admit them. She used to leave her phone on the couch, unlocked. Now it was always face down, glued to her hand. She started working more doubles at the hospital, except I noticed she'd come home with makeup still perfect, hair not a strand out of place. Weird for someone who just worked a 12-hour shift. I didn't say anything that night. I played dumb. Acted normal. I told her to have fun and text me if she needed anything. But I was already planning. Next morning, I got up at 5, went to work like always, and waited for her to make up another excuse to leave that night. Sure enough, by Thursday, she said it again, Erin's place. We're doing tacos this time. I asked what kind of wine she wanted me to grab for her and her friend. She laughed and said, "Don't worry, I got it." She thought she was clever. She left around 6:30. This time, I followed. I stayed back a few blocks, careful not to be obvious. She pulled into the hotel parking garage, got out wearing a red dress I'd never seen before. Tight, low back, heels. She looked amazing. But not for me. Then he showed up. Tall guy, dressed sharp. He kissed her right there by the lobby doors. They walked in together, her holding onto his arm like he was the one putting a ring on her finger this year. My stomach turned. I wanted to storm in and throw hands. But I didn't. I waited. I walked across the street to a little diner, sat by the window, and called the front desk. Asked for room service. "Yes, sir, how can we help?" "I want to send a bottle of champagne to room 1007. "Certainly. Would you like to include a note?" I paused, heart thudding. "Yeah. Right, hope you're enjoying your stay, liar." She repeated it back to me slowly. I said, "Yeah. That's perfect." Then I hung up and just sat there, sipping a coffee I didn't taste. I watched the windows on the 10th floor. Wondered what was going through her head when that knock came. Wondered how fast her heart dropped when she read the note. If she looked out the window, she might have even seen me. After an hour, I got up, drove home, and packed her stuff. Everything. Her shoes, her stupid collection of throw pillows, her curling iron, the framed picture of us from our trip to the Smokies. All of it went into boxes. I didn't break a thing. I didn't write a note. Just taped the boxes up and left them by the front door. At 2 a.m., she came home. I was sitting in the living room, lights off. She walked in quiet. Thought I was asleep. When she saw me, she froze. Still in that red dress. Her lipstick was smudged. Her heels were in her hand. Nick? I didn't expect you to be up. Room 1007? I said. Nothing else. Just that. Her face changed like a switch had flipped. Eyes wide, then cold. Then soft. Like she was about to cry. I can explain. No, I said. You can pack. She looked toward the boxes. I could see her trying to figure out how much I knew. She tried to cry. Said it was the first time. Said she made a mistake. That she was confused. That she loved me. I didn't yell. I didn't call her names. I just stared at her and said, "It's done." She begged for a second chance. Offered to go to therapy. Said we could postpone the wedding. I told her the locks were getting changed in the morning. I haven't heard from her since. And yeah, I think about it. I think about that red dress. That hotel room. The moment the champagne arrived. I wonder if he knew she was engaged. I wonder if he cared. What I do know. She didn't expect me to find out. She definitely didn't expect me to send room service. And she sure as hell didn't expect the note. It's been about 3 weeks since I threw Jenna out. I thought that would be the end of it. Clean cut. Done. But it never works out that way, does it? At first, I was numb. I focused on work. Took extra shifts at the garage. Slept on the couch for no reason other than I didn't want to be in that damn bed we used to share. Her scent was still on the pillows. The ring box was still in my dresser. I should have thrown it out. I didn't. About 10 days after everything went down, I got a call. Blocked number. I usually ignore those, but something told me to pick it up. Nick? It was a man's voice. This is gonna sound strange, but I think we need to talk. About Jenna. That got my attention real quick. Who is this? My name's Ray. I didn't know she was engaged. I found out the night you sent that note. I stood up without realizing. Wait. You were the guy in the hotel room? Yeah. I didn't know, man. She told me she was single. Said her last relationship ended bad. We met at the hospital. Ray was a paramedic. New to the city. Met Jenna during a trauma call. They got close. He said she was the one who made the first move. Look, I wouldn't be calling you if I didn't feel like a piece of trash. She lied to both of us. I ended it that night. I didn't say anything at first. Just let the silence hang there. Then he said something that flipped my world again. But I think you should know something. She told me she'd been talking to a lawyer. That she might go after you for some of the wedding money. Said she put down some deposits too. I don't know if it's true, but I thought you should know. I hung up and just sat there, staring at my kitchen wall. The next morning, I checked our old email thread with the wedding planner. I hadn't logged into it in weeks. There it was. A new email from the venue sent just 2 days ago. Hi Jenna, we've updated the invoice per your request. We'll send the refund directly to the account on file once cancellation is processed. What account? I checked. She changed the deposit refund to her personal account. Not the joint one we used to pay for the venue. She was trying to take back my money. Quietly. I forwarded the email to myself, saved a copy, then drove straight to the venue's office. Showed them everything. Told them she didn't have permission to change the refund destination. Brought my receipts. They apologized, said they'd stop the transfer. That night, Jenna showed up at my place. She was furious. Not crying this time. She was cold. You stole that refund from me, she said. I laughed in her face. That was my deposit. You ruined our wedding. There is no or anything. You blew that up in a hotel room with a guy you just met. She started yelling. Called me bitter. Said I was overreacting to one mistake. I snapped. You cheated on me. Lied to my face. You don't get to call it a mistake just because you got caught. She said, you humiliated me with that note. I said, good. Then I shut the door in her face. Next morning, I found out she tried to go to my boss. Claimed I'd stolen tools from the garage. Said I was unstable. My boss laughed her out of the building, but still pulled me aside to ask what was going on. Now she was trying to ruin my job too. It wasn't enough that she shattered our relationship. Now she wanted to wreck my life. That's when I realized this wasn't over. She wasn't done. And neither was I. After Jenna showed up at my work, I knew I couldn't stay quiet anymore. This woman, this person I had once planned to marry, was going scorched earth. And I had barely fought back. That was about to change. I started by going through our shared digital accounts. Old photos, calendar invites, even an old Google Drive folder where we'd stored wedding-related stuff. That's where I found something strange: screenshots. A whole folder of them. Texts, emails, even Facebook messages between me and other women. Except they weren't mine. She had made it look like I'd been cheating. Photoshopped messages. Dated to months back. Some even showed my name and number. I don't know how she did it, but it was good enough that if you didn't know better, it looked real. I stared at that folder, sick to my stomach. She was setting me up. I remembered the day she asked to borrow my laptop. Said hers was acting up. I hadn't thought twice about it. Now I knew. She was building a case. A fake one. Probably to justify what she did. Maybe even to use against me legally, or socially, if I ever took things public. So I made a copy of the entire folder. Saved it to an external drive. Took screenshots of every single file, with timestamps showing they'd been uploaded after the hotel night. Clear evidence they were planted. I went quiet again. No contact. Until I saw her with Ray. I was at a bar with some co-workers on a Friday night, blowing off steam. Then I saw her. Sitting 2 tables over. With him. Ray looked miserable. Like he hadn't slept in days. She leaned in close to him, whispering something. He looked at her like he wanted to believe her, but couldn't. I walked past on my way to the bathroom and said, low and quiet, she's still lying. He looked up fast. She looked away. A week later, Ray showed up at my work. He had a folder in his hand. I'm done with her, he said. I thought you should see this. It was a printed conversation between him and Jenna. Emails. Texts. She'd been telling him I was abusive. That I'd hit her once. That I'd cheated constantly. I didn't want to believe it, but she was persuasive, he said. I didn't even feel angry anymore. Just tired. She was trying to rewrite history. And she wasn't stopping at lies. She was setting fire to every bridge she ever stood on. Ray gave me permission to use the emails however I needed. So I filed them away. Just in case. The final straw came a few days later. I got served. A legal notice. Jenna was suing me for emotional damages and demanding half of the wedding expenses be reimbursed to her. She also wanted half the value of the engagement ring, even though I already sold it. She claimed in the paperwork that she left me because of my cheating. Cited the fake screenshots. Claimed she had digital proof of my infidelity. She was trying to destroy me personally, professionally, legally. But what she didn't know. I had proof. And I was about to use it. I'd never been involved in a lawsuit before. Never even had a speeding ticket. So getting served like that hit hard. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the papers for a long time. I didn't feel scared. I felt something else. Determined. I called a lawyer the next day. A good one. One of my old customers at the garage, retired cop, recommended her. Said she was tough and didn't play games. When I walked into her office and showed her the fake screenshots Jenna made, her eyebrows shot up. Then I showed her the emails from the venue. The changed refund. Ray's printed emails. The timeline. The room service receipt. Everything. Her exact words? This girl's about to regret every decision she made. We filed a counterclaim. Sued Jenna for defamation, emotional distress, fraud, and attempted theft. I didn't hold back. We subpoenaed the hotel for security footage and guest logs. Got confirmation that she checked in with Ray under her name. That she used our joint account. Got timestamps that lined up exactly with her texts to me claiming she was at errands. We even got copies of the messages she sent the venue to try and sneak away with the refund. The court date came a few weeks later. She showed up looking polished. Smiling. Had some fresh tears ready, too. Tried to say I was a serial cheater and manipulative, that she'd been scared to leave me before. Then my lawyer pulled out the drive. Started playing actual footage of her walking into the Hilton in that red dress, holding hands with Ray. Started reading texts she sent him, mocking me. Telling him how easy I was to fool. That I was too stupid to notice. Jenna turned white. Then we handed over the metadata on the screenshots she made. Dates didn't match. Timestamps were off. Locations tagged as her address, not mine. Her voice cracked. Her lawyer tried to call for a recess. Denied. Then Ray walked in. He testified that she told him I was abusive, that she lied to him too, and admitted to faking screenshots. Said he ended things the moment he saw the room service note and realized what she'd done. The judge didn't take long. He dismissed her lawsuit completely. Called her actions calculated and malicious. Said she abused the legal system to try and shift blame. Then he ruled in my favor. She owed me over $17,000 in damages and legal fees. Had 30 days to pay or face wage garnishment. She didn't even look at me on the way out of the courtroom. But I wasn't celebrating. Not yet. Because here's the truth, I ignored the signs. I let things slide. I saw the weird texts, the sudden changes in her habits, and I didn't ask questions. I let love make me blind, and it almost cost me everything. The morning after the verdict, I took a walk downtown. Passed by the Hilton. Same place where she got caught. I stood there, looking up at the 10th floor, and felt calm. Then I walked into the same little coffee shop I'd sat in that night. Ordered the same drink. And for the first time in months, it tasted right. Sometimes, revenge doesn't come with shouting or slamming doors. Sometimes it's slow. Methodical. Quiet. Sometimes, it's a room service receipt and a forward note. Hope you're enjoying your stay, liar. She lost everything. Her job found out about the lawsuit. Her nursing license got flagged for ethics violations. Ray cut ties. Her name was mud in town. She moved 2 states over. I heard through someone she's living with her sister now. No job. No fiance. No friends. Me? I'm still at the garage. Still fixing engines. But I sleep easy now. And I keep that champagne receipt in my glove box. Just as a reminder.